Howdy. Phys.org Supercomputers have revealed the giant pillars of heat funneling diamonds upward from deep within Earth. Most diamonds are formed deep inside Earth and brought close to the surface in small yet powerful volcanic eruptions of a kind of rock called kimberlite. Our supercomputer modeling, published in Nature Geoscience, shows these eruptions are fueled by giant pillars of heat rooted 2,900 kilometers below ground just above our planet's core. Understanding Earth's internal history can be used to target mineral reserves, not only diamonds but also crucial minerals such as nickel and rare earth elements. Kimberlite and hot blobs. Kimberlite eruptions leave behind a characteristic deep, carrot-shaped pipe of kimberlite rock, which often contains diamonds. Hundreds of these eruptions that occurred over the past 200 million years have been discovered around the world. Most of them were found in Canada, South Africa, Angola, and Brazil. Between Earth's solid crust and molten core is the mantle, a thick layer of slightly goopy hot rock. For decades, geophysicists have used computers to study how the mantle slowly flows over long periods of time. In the 1980s, one study showed that kimberlite eruptions might be linked to small thermal plumes in the mantle, feather-like upward jets of hot mantle rising due to their higher buoyancy beneath slowly moving continents. It had already been argued in the 1970s that these plumes might originate from the boundary between the mantle and the core at a depth of 2,900 kilometers. Then, in 2010, geologists proposed that kimberlite eruptions could be explained by thermal plumes arising from the edges of two deep hot blobs anchored under Africa and the Pacific Ocean. And last year, we reported that these anchored blobs are more mobile than we thought. Are they talking about the LLSVPs? I don't know. However, we still didn't know how activity deep in the mantle was driving kimberlite eruptions. Pillars of heat. Geologists assumed that mantle plumes could be responsible for igniting kimberlite eruptions. However, there was still a big question remaining. How was heat being transferred from deep of the earth up to the kimberlites? To address these questions, we used supercomputers in Canberra, Australia, to create three-dimensional geodynamic models of Earth's mantle. Our models account for the movement of continents on the surface into the mantle over the past 1 billion years. We calculated the movements of heat upward from the core and discovered that broad mantle upwellings or pillars of heat connect the very deep Earth to the surface. Our modeling shows these pillars supply heat underneath kimberlites, and they explain most kimberlite eruptions over the past 200 million years. The models successfully captured kimberlite eruptions in Africa, Brazil, Russia, and parts in the United States and Canada. Our models also predict previously undiscovered kimberlite eruptions occurred in East Antarctica and the Yilgarn Craton of West Australia. That's a very strange sentence. Our models also predict previously undiscovered. Somehow predicting means telling what's happening in the future. But anyway, towards the center of the pillars, mantle plumes rise much faster and carry dense material across the mantle, which may explain chemical difference between kimberlites in different continents. Our models do not explain some of the kimberlites in Canada, which might be related to a different geological process called plate subduction. We have so far predicted kimberlites back to 1 billion years ago, which is the current limit of reconstructions of tectonic plate movements. Yes, where I live, we have diamonds. And one thing when they are searching for diamonds, they are searching for green stones. And I think I found at least one very green stone, which sparked some interest in, or at least at one. No, I think he sent it to several other people. My finding some PhD from here, which is a specialist in greenstone belt of Finland. So they are talking about the deep carrot-shaped pipe of kimberlite rock, which often contains diamonds. So let's go over to Thunderbolt's info. I just really have to share that. The electrical origin of kimberlite pipes. January 25th, 2010. One of the more perplexing mysteries in geology is the mechanism behind kimberlite eruption at the Earth's surface, because these eruptions have never been witnessed. Historically, kimberlite eruptions tend to occur on the tectonically stable parts of the Earth's landmass, well away from the tectonically active zones where many active volcanoes are found. And from the stability of diamond-graphite pair, we know they erupt catastrophically over a very short time, taking a matter of half a day from the initial melting in the mantle to eruption and solidification at the surface. Another peculiarity these ancient volcanoes have lies in the close chronological association with global mass extinction events, where the globally largest eruptions of these rocks occurred at the Cretaceous extinction event. The actual process which formed the kimberlite crater or diatreme remains unknown, because there is clear evidence that these diatremes were machined downwards from the surface by a magmatic vortex effect. Downwards. In the other paper we were reading, they were talking about hot mantle plumes rising from below, but it's downwards. That's why it has a carrot shape. Otherwise, like a volcano, it's a triangle. It's not carrot shaped, which is like you can turn it around. But kimberlite pipes, they are triangle where the point is pointing down. But anyway, the final puzzle lies in the origin of these rather unique rocks, some 220 kilometers under the surface, well away from active tectonic zones. What could have affected the upper mantle at those depths to allow partial melting and the rapid ascent of the occasionally diamond-bearing kimberlite magma to the Earth's surface? The new concepts in Global Tectonics newsletters, issue number 43 of June 2007, published an important paper by the Russian scientist Konstantin K. Katsanovich-Wolf, who proposed that kimberlites are related rocks are linked to disruptions in the Earth's electrical field caused by the electromagnetic field effect of a passing cosmic body or meteorite. Maybe Venus. Earlier research by Russian scientists also point to earthquakes being caused by subterranean electric discharge, and which also could trigger kimberlite eruptions. And his model is the actual physical disruption of the Earth's electrical field by the electrically active interlooper that initiated the kimberlite eruptions, and presumably also the associated mass species extinctions. Or maybe a micronova. This strongly suggests kimberlite eruptions are essentially electrical discharge sites of short duration between the Earth and another cosmic body. where electrical charge differences between the Earth and the interlooper caused electrical shortcuts between them. The rotary or tunneling mechanism recognized from the shape and structure of the kimberlite diatremes can then be explained as the result of powerful Birkeland currents corkscrewing into the Earth's surface, forming the smooth and steep sides of the kimberlite diatreme. Geological mysteries disappear when the plasma model is used to explain observed facts. Contributed by Louis Hissink, MSc is a consulting geologist in Perth, Western Australia. He is a member of the Australian Institute of Geoscientists and editor of the AIG News. Yeah, he's a diamond man. And when I wrote my first paper, Plate Tectonic Issues, the influence of electricity in rock forming processes, and the coherent connection between mythology, history, and science of Finland, I learned about kimberlite. I learned about the greenstones. I learned about that where I am, there are diamonds. And there are those ancient stories from the Aborigines in Australia. For example, do you know the saying, at the end of the rainbow there is a treasure? The Aborigines associate Aurora Australis with fire, death, and destruction. In other words, probably their ancestors have seen the Aurora Australis touching the ground. This might be something which could have then, after all, created electrical discharges into the mantle or into the surface of the Earth and created the kimberlite pipes and the diamonds. And the fascinating thing is that there are somewhat similar stories here in Finland about the Aurora Borealis touching the ground, killing people. And for example, my playlist of the plasma rocks, I try to put a link below if I remember it. But at the plasma rock side there is like many craters I have shown. No, I won't show now. But anyway. And the thing is also those green stone belts. Like it's here where I am. And I just downloaded this paper, Helsinki, University of Helsinki, Petrology and Economic Geology, Petrography, Lithology, Geometry, Geochemistry and Geochronology of the Takanen Greenstone Belt, Eastern Finland. This was made last year. Supervisors, and one of them was the guy who was very interested into my find. I won't tell you which one of those three it was, but he's also one of those who doesn't anymore talk to me. But anyway, if we go down, there's a map. There are several. I didn't really have time yet to dive into that. Let's just scroll down until we find this here. Migmatites and granitoids, greenstone belts. And so this map isn't too accurate. Can we even zoom in? Yes, we can a little bit. So it's not really, I cannot really tell where I am. Let's just say like this, I am here somewhere. So there is green stuff here. In other words, diamond country. And there are several places here where there are mining diamonds. There's actually another map here. Yeah, we don't do anything with this one. But anyway. So we have similarities between Australia, the Aboriginal people's stories, and the Aboriginal people stories of Finland. About electrical discharges have taking place, killing people, aurora borealis or Australia touches the ground, and it's not good. We have stories about dragons. There is Iku Turso in the Finnish national poem, the Kalevala, and the Kalevala was Kalevala, Kalevala in Finnish, and in Finnish it's Kalevala. But anyway, Lord of the Rings, it got quite much inspiration from the Kalevala, and there's a dragon. For those who haven't seen it, watch the movie. There's a dragon. You will figure out. And there is this rainbow serpent in Australia. The rainbow serpent in Australia, it tends to jump from the ground and goes back into the ground, and it leaves behind, guess what? Water-filled ponds. Finland has some 180,000 lakes. So no wonder there's some diamonds here. And I know for a fact, not too far from here, some weeks ago, someone showed me some papers about their property. And it turned out that someone is basically very interested in to start to mine for diamonds on his property. And first I told him about the greenstone and stuff like that, and he was really suspicious, and he probably thought that, yeah, that's just like some strange looking guys talking about really strange things. And after a while he remembered it. Yeah, I saw some paper. And then he went to check it, and he came out with a paper, and then he started to read. Like he was just reading. And all of a sudden, with very loud voice, he just said, "Diamonds!" What? Yeah, they are willing to dig for diamonds here, in this property. And then I looked at him and said, "So do you believe me now?" And he didn't say anything. He just stood there with his mouth open and stared at me. And I don't know what he was thinking. But he was at least perplexed. And the thing is, there are people out there who know that I know. And they also know that I know that they don't know about several things. They couldn't make the connection between very important things due to their education, because their education is self-restricted. In order, if you want to make interdisciplinary science here, at least in Finland, in Eastern Finland, I checked it out at the University of Eastern Finland, you have to have so much other education first before you can do some interdisciplinary science. Which is basically an oxymoronous thing, because in order to understand anything, you have to take everything into account. If you just focus on one single thing, you'll never will get a picture of the whole. You never will get a holistic picture. But anyway, I leave it here. Something about diamonds this time, obviously. Yeah. Follow the rainbow. Thanks. Bye.